Hi, I'm Jill Fraser. I've been a miniaturist for over 30 years, and I started this YouTube channel to share my work with you and to show you some of the things that I do and how I do them, and to show you how I meet some of the challenges that I find in my workshop from day to day. So I hope you enjoy this video. So today it was a short day for me, and I couldn't find my Tudor door anywhere, and so tomorrow it was Saturday, so I'm going to just set myself a task and try and find the jolly thing, because I don't want to make another one. And so I promised I would show you the workshop on making knives and making the little piggy breadboard. So I'm about to do that, and just in case you're wondering what's behind me, this was my Devon pub that I made. It was one of my very first, not pub, that lady doesn't belong in that little scenario, or her gin bottle, but it was the very first miniature I did, and I had been sitting in one in Devon, and I rather liked it, and I said to Roger, I think I'll go home and build one of these, and he nearly swallowed his beer because I was building houses at the time, and he thought I meant a real sized pub. And I said, oh no, it's a 12 scale pub, Roger. So there we go. That was the start of the whole business. So now I'll show you the little workshop. So first up, this was a sheet that came out of that kit, and it's supposed to tell me everything. So that'll be interesting. So I've got this veneer that makes handles. So I've got plenty to make lots of knives. I've got a sheet of sort of a bit of tin, looks like a sardine tin lid or something. And I've also found those tea lights, and I've cut the sides down, and I've got some of that as well, just in case I get carried away and I need to make a full set of something. And so I've got some scissors which I'll use to cut the veneer if it works, because it's often better than using a blade. And it does say, where's a pencil? No, it doesn't say where's a pencil. I say where is a pencil when you want it the most. And a pen, even a pen would help, right? No, that's not going to work. Yes, we are. Okay, so what will I do? I will use this colour. I quite like this colour. And I will cut a few handles. And I'll kind of go with that size. I'll just freehand them. I'll do a knife handle, kind of a round with a straight back, a little bit like that. By the time I've finished and sanding it, it's going to be a lot smaller. And I'll try and do two the same. And that could be tricky, but I will cut one out first and then try it. Yes, so scissors work quite well. So just get that a better shape. Oh, well, scissors don't work so well when you've got to do a little curve. So because I'm gluing two pieces together, it doesn't matter if I split it a little bit. I'll just do the curve with the knife. And that's not bad. And I'll just see if I can get another one out of that piece. And I can. Oh, it's a fiddly job. So that's really just the curvy bit that I need to do. Just do it in two little increments. Right, basically ending up with a round handle here. Get that off. Now I just want it to be a little bit shaped coming down here. This is terrible veneer, it's dry, so it's splitting everywhere. There we go. And I think I'll shape it better when I've got two layers. Now it does say you hold the pieces together and you sand them. So we'll do that extremely carefully, seeing it's so dry. Very carefully, Joel. Not too bad. I can always finish that end off when I've got the blade in the middle, just to give it a bit more oomph. Okay, so then it says cut a metal blade. So I'm looking at, I'm going to give it a bit of a handle. I'm going to come around here. And then I'm going to come down. Most people would probably draw this, of course. And now I'm going to cut it with the scissors. Okay. Now, the only reason why I didn't like this using this one is it had a coloured side on it. I don't really want a coloured side, but if you're just going to be laying your knife down on one breadboard, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there is the blade. And now, theoretically, I glue the handle one side to the other side. And then I'm going to shape it a bit once it's dry. So we'll see how we go with that. I'm just put a bit of glue on this lid here. Oh, there we go. Use a toothpick. For some reason, I've lost my little squirty thing with a nozzle. I'll glue it both sides. Oh dear. Right. Keeping the straight side of the handle and the straight back of the blade on the same side. This is a fiddly thing, but I did promise it'll be warts and all, and so that means you have to watch me make mistakes too. Sorry. Just got a better shaped part of that one. And we do need a bit more glue on that wood. Put them together. And that's quite solid when it's glued together. And I'm just going to carefully put a clip on that so it dries properly. These are good little clips. You can get them from craft stores. I must have used it for my hedgehog. It's got hedgehog quills in it. I'm just going to carefully make sure it's in the centre and let it dry. And that looks like my biggest, that looks too big actually. That looks more like it's going to fit my 10th scale house. I'll have to make a smaller one for a 12th scale for the pig. Well, I'm going to have to go away and I'm going to cut this with my scroll saw. because that is by far the easiest way to go. And instead of actually trying to cut around at the scroll saw, I'm going to cut all the excess off first, and then I'm going to do the final shaping. So I shall be back to show you that. Okay, so I'm back again, and I've got my little pig. The wood on the first piece of wood split, but I've used a piece of basswood which isn't quite so fragile, and I shall make this into my breadboard. Now, that knife hasn't worked out very well yet. I'll just put a bit more glue on that before I try to do anything with that. You can see this isn't my strength, making these little things. My hands are too big. Right, I'm going to make better knives. This is my challenge at the moment. Maybe that wood might be better. So I'm going to make it easy for myself. I'm going to just make a pattern that I like. Now that's just going to be a normal kitchen knife. Very carefully cut it out. Oh! Ah. Right. Cutting that with the scissors. I'll just, it's the round end, just shape it with the scissors. Keep my fingers crossed. Okay, so I've got a little wooden one side of the knife. Now I've got to do the other side. So we need a bit off there. We need to come down there. Down there. Oh, it's very, very dry, this stuff. It must have been in my box for a long time. Right. There's my little handle. That's the bit off the top. This is coming down the side, so it doesn't matter if it splits. And I've got to get it across here. And that's always going to do that. And now I've got two sides which are the same, nearly. And I will just cut another blade out of this. Smallish, don't need heavy heaps. That's the straight piece. Just going to give me a bit of a tang. And it doesn't have to be a big knife. I'll make it rounded, like a cheese knife. Right. Okay, I think I'm succeeding at last. Right. Bit of glue. Good job I'm not using super glue. I would have glued myself to this and then I would have been in trouble. Put the blade on there. This is the one that's got the coloured side. Put the blade on. So okay, this is going to be a little cheese knife. How big's that? Down a bit more. There. Come on. There. Okay. Now, I might treat myself to a new toothpick. Right. Oh, yes, I might have just put that on round the wrong way. And that's better. I'm just bringing that blade out to a length that I want. I should have made it a bit longer. I've been making it hard for myself. Oh dear. There we go. A little peg. Put it aside. Oh, I don't know if this UFO was worth making. Where's this peg? I shall sand it. When I find something to sand it with. Right, shall be very careful because I don't want to split it. So his little snout's coming along nicely. His ear's a bit of a worry. Looks a bit pointy. Pigs don't have pointy ears, they have kind of floppy ears. So this pig is a different breed. I might just have to very carefully do the top of that. That's better. So he's getting a bit better. Okay. I think there are worse pig breadboards around. There we go. Now, I shall continue to do a few knives. I think I haven't really got enough, but I'm just going to go and shape this handle of this one better, because this will be the super cutting knife of the kitchen. Because it's the biggest. And it's certainly much easier to shape it when it's glued up. So the only thing I don't like about it is that that side of that metal that was provided was coloured. But it's not too bad. And I'll just get rid of a bit of that glue. Right, so that's one knife. Not for cheese, I don't think. This one wasn't terribly good, but it might come right. With a bit of sanding. No, it won't. Throw that one in the bucket. Right, this seems to be the best wood, so we'll do another little cheese knife or another little knife. And then you've got the idea, and hopefully you'll let me off the hook, and I won't have to do any more. Right, I'm just going to cut that across there so it doesn't split. That might be the way to do it. Right. You just have to be masterful. Now this is tricky because this will split. So I need to actually keep a little curve there, and I'll do it with the sanding tool rather than try and cut it with a knife. And then do another one. That seems to be the best method, is to cut across the grain so that it doesn't split any further. And then do any other finer sanding when you've got them glued together. I'll make it go that way. So, the blade again. I'm going to do a longer tang this time. Right. Okay, last knife. I promise you this is the last knife. So I've given myself plenty of meat on this one side of the knife handle so I can shape it with the sandpaper. And then get this other piece on the other side. Now this is the shape I want. Right, so I'll let that dry together and then I will sandpaper it. So what have I got here? I've got this little cheese knife. So we'll just give that a bit of a shape. I now know why this was in the box. Okay, one cheese knife, the good side. One cutting meat knife. And one pig breadboard, which just needs tidying up a bit. It's not bad. And so that basically will be stained. That's still got to be shaped a bit, hasn't it? I wonder if it's okay now. Yep, we'll do it now. And we'll do this carefully. I did watch something on the internet where a lady was making cutlery from the gold inners of chocolate boxes, and she was using a shape in that pressed shape that looked very much like a spoon, and then there was also another shape that looked very much like a knife. And so it's worth not chucking those gold inners out without peering at them closely. And she was making some really nice spoons and knives from that. So it's well worth having a look at. And now this just needs a little bit of a cut with the scissors. Ooh, living dangerously. But that worked out all right. I've got my hands firmly on it. And it went somewhere there. Don't you hate it when it slides across the other side of the room and you look for it for hours? Okay, so that one's not too bad. I don't think I'd make a living out of it. Now, they do suggest that you put the rivets in with a silver pen, and I'm thinking to myself, do I have a silver pen? I do have a silver pen. So I can put some rivets in with my silver pen. Here we go. And then 1, 2. So that's done. And I might have a wood stain pen somewhere here. So there we have it, my breadboard, my piggy breadboard, which I was going to just draw his little tail in there. He's got a little tail and a little eye. And a little cheese knife. Piece of cheese, bit of salami, just if you feel like a snack, and some more cheese, and a couple of knives. So there we go. At least I got one of my unfinished projects out of the way. I hope that I didn't make too much of a mess of it and that I entertained you greatly. So I shall see you tomorrow with my Tudor door, hopefully, and also some progress on my lavender cottage, which I'm sure that you'll be interested to see. And so I shall see you then. Thank you for watching. Bye.